Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Watch This with Joe and Kevin minus Joe as I continue my journey through the first season of The Sopranos. Um, it's been utterly fantastic and completely compelling. I can see why this show was such a game changer in 1999 when it came out, simply because so many television series at the time were completely episodic in nature, right? The rule in comedy and drama at the time was you have to be at the same place at the end of the episode as you were at the beginning so that you can start right at the same place the next episode. It doesn't matter what sequence watch people in, so on and so forth. But obviously, this gives us a different kind of story to where there are changes and character arcs that are so much more rewarding than an episodic structure, in my opinion. Um, the last episode kind of culminated in the knowledge of the how much the FBI is aware and how onto these guys they really are, with the surveillance and everything. Junior's coronation, and then showing that their office where they have the pictures up on the wall, and Junior's goes up at the top, which was kind of the plan, right? Make Junior the boss, and unbeknownst to him, the whole point is to put all the heat on him, for law enforcement, and we knew they were there before, right? The episode where Jackie died, we had the news broadcast that said, "Hey, this guy was running the crime syndicate," so it was obviously common knowledge. Plus, the end, the law enforcement was at Jackie's funeral. So this was a very real thing that was going to happen in the show. I don't know how much we're getting into it, but obviously law enforcement is going to play a huge role in the show moving forward at some point. Um, and we had the idea that Tony kind of set up Junior to feel like he was running things when in reality everyone's kind of puppeteering him a little bit. And we really saw that come to fruition in the last episode, right? We have to get Junior to back off some of his bad ideas, but we have to make him feel like he's being a great guy and coming up with a way to fix these problems themselves, even though that's absolutely not the case. I don't know how much longer you can do that. I don't feel like that's a sustainable model. I think for the moment it seems to be working out for everybody, but I don't know that Junior's smart enough to figure it out, but I do believe that um, Tony's mom, I'm totally blanking out, Lydia, is smart enough to figure it out and kind of let Junior know. We have seen more than once that she kind of knows how to push Junior's buttons to get him to do what she wants him to do. She is a master manipulator. She has done it to Tony. The number of times she said really overly melodramatic things like, "I wish the Lord would take me now," and really knows how to throw on a victim hat to make other people feel bad for her. There's a level of selfishness here that's pretty rough. Um, Basically, what I'm trying to say is Lydia is a hard person to love thus far in the show, and Tony's really trying, which is one of the many reasons why Tony's such an interesting and compelling character. Because he's evil. He is. There's no way around that. I know circumstances, the world he was brought into, and all of that. But it's not just the crime. He's cheating on his wife. He beats on people, who owe him money. Um, he's killed a guy. Whether you feel like that was warranted or not is a completely different point. But Tony, I think it'd be a stretch at this point to call our protagonist a good guy. Joe mentioned when we were watching Mad Men that Matthew Weiner said Don Draper wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Tony Soprano, right? Tony Soprano, the idea of the anti-hero, the guy you really find yourself rooting for and probably shouldn't, because ultimately they aren't just amoral, they're probably awful in a lot of ways. Tony Soprano kind of ushered in that era of, Don Draper, Walter White, these other kind of guys that show up as our people we shouldn't root for but do. We should go and get started here. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do have a Patreon linked in the description below to see full-length reactions of this and lots of other things we're watching. Obviously, I've talked at length about the opening credit sequence and how much I love it, but I don't think you can overstate just how great it is that they shoot this show on location. And like this setting, you really get the feel of it, right? I think Ben Affleck movie The Town. I've heard that was one where like the setting that kind of does well the setting as a character kind of thing. Um, and I think this is one of those, right? The setting is really significant as far as kind of hovering over the story is a really important element. You couldn't set this show somewhere else, certainly not as well. This would be a different show if it was Los Angeles or Chicago or Houston or, another large city where organized crime absolutely exists.
Quick, it's almost time for the nun's rosary. This is 8th grade history, man. Stealing the sacramental wine? It's not...
They're drinking the sacramental wine.
Are you gonna confess this? I'm gonna tell my soul something. Now what?
I feel like his home and everything, that Anthony Jr. would be a guy who would have access to alcohol at home. He's just doing this to be cool with his friends. I don't think it's hard to come by booze in the Soprano household.
3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, 6, 8, 7, 9, 8, 10, 9, 1, 2, 3.
Are these guys wasted? Did they drink that much wine?
Sorry, Mr. Mescamin. 6, 7.
Why would you drink before gym class? I guess you're a little kid, you don't know. You shouldn't do it. It's going to take this teacher about 30 seconds to figure this out.
Come on, stand up on your feet. Let's go. Come on.
Whoa.
You could probably smell it on him if he gets close enough.
Mr. Mescamin, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Is that alcohol on your breath?
There it is, yeah. And you're all caught. Unless that kid knows the no snitching rule, but I think the teacher's smart enough to figure out that they were all in the same boat.
Look, you made your point, okay?
I made my point.
You made your point.
What point is that?
Enough with this work stoppage.
This is a union safety official.
Oh, okay.
Christopher, give the union a call and see if this gentleman here has paid up his union dues, and then pop one of these wheel covers. We'll check the brake pads.
I'll get right on it.
So shakedown, okay?
Give me a cell. I gotta call Carmela.
You sure it was them?
They were drunk in gym class.
Well, at least let me pay for the wine.
Theft of the sacramental wine is not just a crime against property. This is an affront to our holy sacristy.
Now they're going to get the talking to, aren't they?
Sister Patricia, his art teacher, thinks he shows strong skills and spatial orientation.
Now the bad news, yeah.
Anthony sometimes has trouble following the rules.
I always knew there was something.
Well, what is it?
It's an aggregate of symptoms. Inattention.
Yeah.
Sometimes, although not always, hyperactivity.
You got to give him medication.
All he needs is a whack upside the head.
If he's got an illness, it's an illness, right? You would hit somebody who's sick? You'd hit somebody with polio?
I love Carmela, by the way.
Oh, no, I mean, Anthony's misbehaved. He should be consequenced.
Oh my God. Tony just wants to hit him and call it good.
Want to encourage him, Uncle Joe?
Hey,
Yeah.
whatever happened, the boys will be boys.
He stole from the church. They don't make him any lower than that. You are not to play Mario Kart or go skateboarding for 3 weeks. And no TV.
No.
And you are not going to sit on that internet either.
I mean, it was fair. Tony's idea was to spank him pretty good.
Well, the stuff that doctor was saying, I never saw any of that in Anthony.
Well, you never noticed the way he picks at the tongue of his tennis shoe? Like he can't help himself.
Just get the test done and then no, yeah. It's possible having a mafia head as his father doesn't help his developmental behavior.
She knows.
Really? What
Oh,
makes
that
you
was
say
a really
that?
cool cut. I love that. He's like repressing it.
Are you in the mafia?
She talked to you about me?
Talk to me?
Yeah, right.
And pretty soon we're gonna have to talk to her about the business.
Yeah, 2 of us should sit down with Meadow.
Okay, so they're planning on the fact that they can't keep it from her forever. Like, there's some realities you need to know.
ADD is a controversial subject.
Yeah, still is.
Many children can really benefit by professional intervention.
He got in a little trouble.
So you don't consider his behavior out of the norm?
It's a fair question.
Maybe I don't want to admit there's something wrong, but, if he's got this thing, we'll deal with it.
He's actually being more open-minded than a lot of dads.
You pick up the pieces and you go on from there. So that's what we're gonna do.
Do you have anything else you want to say about this?
What about, are they done talking about the fact you tried to kiss her? Yeah.
I find it interesting that it took you so long to tell me that you had a girlfriend.
How are you doing with it?
God, this is almost like deflection at this point.
Look, I gotta ask you one more question about my son.
There you go. Let's get back on topic.
You think I should go easy on him now or press him a little harder?
Well, that's difficult to say.
All kids are different, man. All parents are different.
Why? I don't have to go to school. I'm suspended. You are not lying around in bed all day. We're not running a hotel over here.
Yeah, you don't. That's got to be frustrating, right? Your parents, your kids get suspended, and so they get like a vacation out of it almost on some of them. So that junior,
But
that
Joe,
looks like
what are you
junior.
doing
Yeah,
here so
okay,
early?
Hey, Anthony, where's your old man? He said he'd be waiting outside.
it's good casting.
Do you want Uncle June give you a ride to school?
Not right now, Tony. You'll be good, though. Pay attention to what those teachers tell you. You hear me, Anthony?
Wow, this really is an accurate representation. His dad is exactly like he is with Anthony Jr.
Hey, Rocco!
Come on, move, guys! Move! Hey, John, one more day, man!
This is how he. Oh, this is great. So this is how he learns what his dad is, which changes everything, just like it did for Anthony Jr.
Yeah, the belt was his favorite child development tool.
Yeah,
This was different, though. You could tell he knew what he was doing.
and that's what your son. Yeah,
He was a good guy, my father.
Was
Everybody
he?
liked him. He knew how to have a good time. He loved shellfish.
yeah. When I usually hear he knew how to have a good time, that's usually not a great thing you're saying about somebody.
But he wasn't around much.
What did he do for a living?
He'd tell meat and provisions.
Yeah, she knows what that means.
I never really knew about it.
When did you find out?
Who remembers?
What you thought of that incident this morning?
Yep, we're thinking about his son. Yeah,
Don't start talking to me about legitimate business. What about chemical companies?
rationalizing.
Doctors say that?
No, the doctors don't know anything yet. They just started the testing this afternoon. I just picked up these books at the mall.
That would have to be pretty strong ADD. I would feel like.
Children diagnosed with ADD receive help from special education teachers and...
Oh, okay. Well, that's not being put in a program. I think. Going to IEP.
You blame me.
I blame myself.
For what?
For what?
For staying with me?
I have two eyes.
Oh, he's not far off. I thought he was just projecting.
So this is your grandson?
He rode his bike all the way over to visit his grandma.
How come he's not in school?
Because he was a bad boy.
I took like 1,000,000 tests.
A psychiatrist?
Yeah, you know, because I got suspended and everything.
They sent you?
Oh my God. She can't turn it off, can she? It's all manipulation.
That's all nonsense. That's nothing but a racket for the Jews.
Oh yes, and of course I forgot that she's also a bigot.
What does he need a psychiatrist for? He goes to
like...
talk about his mother.
Okay, I thought this was like something she was going to weaponize.
Oh, I gave my life to my children on a silver platter.
She's leaping right to this.
Yeah, maybe we should call the auto club.
We change tires at our house.
Talking
through it, yeah.
He made me look at these, like, pictures and stuff, and then I had to say something about them.
What'd you talk about? Anything interesting?
Let's get him to me and my therapist.
Yeah.
You made a remark.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Don't worry about it. I'm not mad. I just need to know what you meant by it.
Ask him. Just ask him the question.
Some kids at school said some stuff.
What'd they say?
That you were in the mafia.
What do you think?
I don't know. There were all those guys at Uncle Jackie's funeral.
Yeah, that's a big giveaway. Yeah.
And then I was on the web, and I found this page with Uncle Jackie on it. And it said he ran some union that ripped off these pension things or something.
That all tracks, yeah.
You didn't see me on that web thing, did you?
No.
No? I was wondering if you were going to.
All right, come on, Goose. Give me a hand with this thing so we can get the algae scraped off your teeth.
So he didn't straight deny it, but he kind of did.
You know, this ADD thing? It's probably all genetical.
It is possible that Tony was undiagnosed. It happens.
I think it's important to remember. You said you like the History Channel. He who doesn't understand history is doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. It was all cyclical. It's interesting we spent so much time on Lydia for obvious reasons.
Why are you smiling?
Just thinking about my uncle. Used to tour the ball with me.
The one with whom you have all the static?
Did your dad ever throw the ball with you?
No, I'm not.
She said what?
She was high-strung, my mother, very dramatic.
Well, that's still true, but I feel like she's kind of awful. This is actually pretty clever. Bad idea, but clever. He's gonna sneak out with him in the trunk.
Can I see her?
Maybe on the way home, honey.
I feel like the dad would notice that the trunk's bouncing a little bit, but maybe you don't look back. Oh, well, that's just mean. So he gets left at home and Janice gets to go to the carnival? Weekly? I'm going to go and assume that there's some resentment between Tony and Janice. He already said that, like, she's not helping out enough with Lydia, when Lydia said daughters are better with moms.
I still remember that feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Did you confront them?
Have you been listening to what I've been saying? Kids don't confront in my family.
Yeah.
But how does this pertain to the situation with your son?
Because this amusement park was where I found out that my father wasn't like other fathers.
Oh, so you see something go down?
Come on, move it!
What in the world? No.
Be back in a few hours.
Is he going to see his dad getting arrested?
Stop! You're under arrest. All right.
Was that his dad? I didn't see a face.
It's okay, baby. It's okay, honey. You go home to mommy, sweetheart.
Vafangu, why don't you go lock up the moonyards?
Is that Jackie? They're arresting one of the clowns. Okay, that's funny.
I was using my sister Janice as a front. All the guys brought their daughters so that when they did their business, it looked sweet and innocent.
That must have been devastating.
But now he knows he wasn't favoritism.
I saw him getting arrested. What did he do?
They didn't do anything. They just pick on the Italians.
Be a lesson to you. Those stupid cops. They went to the wrong place. Arrested the wrong guys.
He's so confident. This is where Tony gets it. It's like the performative confidence.
Why did they arrest your father?
He was in violation of his parole. Association with known undesirables.
So they didn't have something big, right? Yeah.
He'd been in prison.
Yeah, he was away when I was a little kid, but they told me he was in Montana being a cowboy.
But you figure it out. How do you feel once you figure it out eventually? So I don't get people who lie to their kids, like, in a big way. Like, they're going to find out.
He's gonna open a new book out there, and after that gets up, we get a little cash flow going.
Oh, Mr. Cash Flow. Big businessman now.
This actress is killing this as young Lydia.
I'd rather smother them with a pillow than take them to Nevada.
Always with the drama.
Lydia is the worst person alive, just FYI.
He's got a lot to learn, granted, but he's headed in the right direction.
Where to? Overbrook State Mental Hospital?
Oh my God, she's going to tell.
You remember the Alatoris, Ma?
Oh, why wouldn't I? You know, they moved to Nevada. They're billionaires now.
That's funny.
Well, if it bothers you, maybe you better talk to a psychiatrist.
God, she's a monster.
You're a real stone player, aren't you, Ma? You threaten to smother his children. You know, everybody thought Dad was the ruthless one, but I gotta hand it to you.
Kind of agree.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she does. Interesting that he chose this to be the first step in confronting her.
Cognitive function, verbal and nonverbal intelligence testing, arithmetic and reading evaluation. All within the normal range.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, that's good.
Bill of health from his pediatrician. No soft sign on the neurological either.
All right, well, that's all the good news now.
Right. He knows this. He knows the layout, yeah.
In testing, Anthony manifested 5 of those symptoms.
5? Really?
So he's on the border, yeah.
Mr. Soprano, it's one of 9 possible symptoms.
What constitutes a fidget?
He feels like it's going to get defensive and confrontational.
He's a kid who made a mistake, and he's going to pay for it. But he's going to be fine. Come on.
That was really defensive.
Frankly, I think he's right. And I don't think we should have to pay for this testing either.
Yes, you should. God.
This might prove to be the trump card.
He does like the History Channel. I do too. Except some of the stuff is stupid. Aliens. And not that I don't think aliens are real. I just think the shows are dumb.
You're sad and you're angry because you did something stupid and you got grounded.
It isn't fair.
Got that right.
it's kind of fair. I mean, he should be punished. He does something wrong to get punished. It's not the kind of punishment that's going to hurt him. That was actually really, really good. I mean, there's no mistaking that Tony spent the episode wondering if he's a good father or not, right? Like that was where the insecurity was. Is he a good father to his son? Man, he is facing a lot on this show. I don't know. What do you guys think about the choice of the Jefferson Starship? We heard it twice in the show. I'm not really sure why exactly. I mean, the obvious thing is, you think about like the medication, because the whole time I was thinking that Anthony was going to end up on ADD meds, which is a pretty common way to treat it. And I thought we were kind of heading that direction. Obviously, we didn't. There's a different kind of self medication going on here, and it's Tony trying to be a more self involved dad, while kind of he and Carmela, by extension, kind of pretending there's not an issue where there might be. And I know that this was shot at a time where there was a lot of skepticism over ADD and ADHD and how children were treated for those conditions. And as it was fairly, I don't know if new is the right word, but it was new to a lot of parents anyway at the time. Over one does my kid have an issue, or is my kid just being a kid? Is he a high strung or she a high strung energetic kid, and do we do an intervention? And if we is it really the right decision to medicate our children so that they're more passive and well behaved in class? We're just dragging our kids down to take away the energy of them. And that was that was a real concern when I was a kid, with among parents of is ADD or ADHD real, or is it just a way for schools to stupefy children who are struggling? I'm not saying I agree with that. Obviously, this is 20 years, 25 years ago. So now, we obviously, know a lot more about the conditions and how to treat them. But it was definitely a thing. The concern at the time, and we kind of saw the lashing out of Tony and Carmela when it was suggested that Anthony was borderline for ADD in this episode. I really like the fact that Tony took a small step to address his history with Livia, and kind of called her out on some of her behaviors, and completely unsurprisingly, she lashed out. I almost feel like the psychiatrist thing was more than a dig and almost kind of a threat, because one, I feel like she's an absolute threat to Tony. I don't think there's anyone more dangerous in the show to Tony than Livia. And the fact that she knows he sees a psychiatrist, and we know, and we've had to explain multiple times on the show already, that information is dangerous to Tony if the wrong people found out about it, that he was talking to a psychiatrist in a job where you don't talk to people, that there's a real chance that she uses this against him in a profound way, beyond making a snide comment. Of course, the fact that he was seeing a psychiatrist, she managed to twist that and make it all about her without knowing any details whatsoever. Because, and I mean this, I believe Livia is awful. We saw it in the flashbacks. Yeah, his dad was a criminal. His dad was was a violent man. Tony was scared of his dad growing up. Did you talk to your dad? No. I'm just glad he wasn't doing it to me, the beating. So there was the potential of violence. So Tony was scared of his dad. But man, the matriarch of this family is a terrible person. I'm kind of curious. Yeah, at some point, I feel like we're going to meet Janice, as I said during the show. I want to know. Well, perhaps we'll find out. But I'm kind of curious about what that dynamic's going to look like when it's not just Tony dealing with what Livia was, but other siblings who he had an older sister and I think a younger sister. It looked like, because I think it was girls. I think he was the only boy. That's how they remember Livia and what their experience was. One of the, I mean, at least Janice is like moved across country. which isn't indicative of anything, but it might be, right? It could be that she's had to get away from her family. Not that every person that moves to a new city and starts a new life is running from anything, but there's a real chance that Janice was. So, I mean, I guess we'll kind of see moving forward. I don't know if in this season or next season or when, but I would lay odds we're gonna meet Janice. I really want to. There seems to be a good call for it if we're going to introduce her at this point. And I think as we go farther into Tony's dynamic with his parents and especially his mom, she's going to be Janice is going to be an important part of kind of understanding that and Tony and possibly Olivia facing facts about what their relationship is and was. I'll leave it at that until the next one. Thanks for being here with me, guys. We'll catch you then.